The leaks aren't the problem. The people leaving are. And Max Verstappen knows it. Red Bull's 2026 crisis didn't begin with an engine failure or a slow lap time. It began quietly, years earlier, with something far more dangerous than technical weakness: instability at the top. And now, with leadership hollowed out, an unproven engine program, and rivals accelerating into the next era, one question is impossible to ignore. Is Red Bull collapsing in slow motion? And if they are, how long before Max Verstappen decides he doesn't need to be there when it finally hits the ground? Welcome back to F1 Unpacked, the channel where we don't just react to headlines, we connect the dots others ignore. If you want real F1 analysis, insider logic, and stories that explain what's actually happening behind the scenes, make sure you like this video and subscribe now. Because Red Bull's 2026 situation is far worse than most fans realize. This story isn't about one exit, it's about a chain reaction. First came Adrian Newey, the most influential designer of the modern era, the man whose instincts defined Red Bull's dominance from Vettel to Verstappen. When Newey left, Red Bull didn't just lose a genius, they lost a philosophical anchor, someone who could end technical debates instantly and keep internal politics in check. His departure created a vacuum, and vacuums in Formula One are never empty for long. Then came Christian Horner. Love him or hate him, Horner was the glue between Milton Keynes and Salzburg. He balanced performance, politics, and personalities. When Horner exited, decision-making slowed and alignment fractured. Departments began pulling in different directions. Then Helmut Marko. This is the most underestimated loss of all. Marko wasn't just Verstappen's mentor, he was his shield. Inside Red Bull, Marko ensured Max always had political leverage and that development priorities never drifted away from what Max needed. Without Marko, Verstappen is just another driver in the structure, even if he's the fastest on the planet, and Max knows how dangerous that is. Then came the strategy brain drain. Senior race engineers, simulation specialists, long-term planners, people who understood how Red Bull converted raw pace into ruthless execution. Their exits didn't make headlines, but they weakened the foundation, like removing bolts from a bridge one by one. Behind all of it sits the unresolved Austria versus Thailand power struggle. Who truly controls Red Bull Racing? Who sets long-term vision? Who decides where money flows in 2026? Internal uncertainty at ownership level is poison in Formula One. Teams don't collapse because they lack speed, they collapse because they lose clarity. This domino effect couldn't have come at a worse time, because Red Bull is entering the biggest regulation reset in a decade without the people who built their last empire. Which brings us to the engine. Red Bull Powertrains is the single biggest risk project on the grid. This is a team with zero experience building a complete Formula One power unit independently. Engines aren't learned through ambition, they're learned through failure. Mercedes failed before they dominated. Ferrari failed before they stabilized. Red Bull hasn't failed yet because they haven't truly raced their own engine. Now combine that with losing technical experts at the exact moment integration matters most. 2026 isn't just about engine power, it's about how the engine talks to the chassis, how energy deployment works with active aero, and how drivability feels under load. Mercedes and Ferrari already have decades of institutional memory here. Red Bull doesn't. And Red Bull chose to become an engine manufacturer at the worst possible moment, right as their leadership spine collapsed. Max Verstappen knows this, which is why his contract matters more than ever. Yes, he is signed long-term, but there is a critical escape clause. If Red Bull's car is not top 3, Max can walk. That clause exists for moments exactly like this. And without Marko inside the team to protect him politically, Verstappen's tolerance for chaos drops sharply. This isn't just about performance, it's about trust. Max doesn't need perfection, but he needs belief that the team knows where it's going. Right now, Red Bull looks like a team searching for direction, not defining it. What makes this situation even more dangerous is that Verstappen's timeline no longer aligns with Red Bull's uncertainty. Max is entering a phase of his career where patience stops being a virtue and starts becoming a risk. He has already proven everything there is to prove in Formula One: wins, titles, dominance, and all achieved. What he doesn't have anymore is time to gamble years of his prime on a project that might work. And 2026 is not a season you wait and see. If a regulation reset goes wrong, it can lock a team into mediocrity for 3 or 4 years.
This is why Verstappen's decisions now feel colder, more distant, more calculated. He's no longer emotionally attached to Red Bull's past success. He's evaluating their future probability. Drivers at this level don't wait for proof on track that they read warning signs early. Internal confusion, leadership drift, delayed confidence. These are the signals that tell champions when to move before the decline becomes obvious to everyone else. And that's what makes Verstappen's situation so uncomfortable for Red Bull. If Max decides the direction isn't right, he won't need a catastrophic season to justify leaving. He will leave at the first credible opening while leverage is still on his side. In modern Formula One, timing isn't everything, it's the only thing. This makes Verstappen skipping the post-season test impossible to ignore. This was not random, it was not fatigue, it was symbolic. Skipping the test was a decision to unplug, not evaluate. He chose not to lend credibility to a 2026 mule car he wasn't convinced by. Other channels treated it as a footnote. It wasn't. It was a warning sign. Then came the emotional fallout of losing the title. Verstappen didn't just lose a championship, he lost it while watching Red Bull unravel around him. Marco gone, leadership fractured, the engine doubts growing, rivals surging. His public frustration wasn't just about results, it was about context. For the first time in years, Max looked like a driver questioning the future, not just the present. And now add the factor nobody is connecting properly. Lando Norris is world champion. This changes everything. For years, Verstappen dominated in a landscape where rivals cracked under pressure. That era is over. Norris proved he can manage a season, absorb pressure, and win intelligently. McLaren is stronger internally than Red Bull right now. Ferrari is resetting aggressively. Red Bull, for the first time, looks like it's losing ground. This forces Verstappen to ask a dangerous question. Is Red Bull still the best place to fight the next era? Especially when you factor in Red Bull's 2025 development freeze. By stalling late-season development to focus on 2026, Red Bull handed momentum to its rivals. McLaren pushed forward, Ferrari pushed forward, Mercedes pushed forward. On paper, Red Bull's choice made sense. In reality, it cost them confidence and allowed competitors to believe again. Momentum matters in Formula One, and Red Bull surrendered it. So where does Verstappen go if he decides Red Bull is no longer the safest bet? Mercedes is the obvious option. Factory engine, proven regulation reset success. Toto Wolff openly praised Max, a team built for 2026. But don't ignore Aston Martin. Newey is there, Honda is there, massive investment is there, and Lawrence Stroll is building Aston using the exact blueprint Red Bull once used: clear leadership, long-term vision, technical autonomy. If Aston's 2026 concept clicks, it becomes the spiritual successor to peak Red Bull. This is why the idea of Verstappen leaving no longer sounds crazy, it sounds logical. Red Bull's 2026 collapse isn't guaranteed, but the warning signs are everywhere. Leadership gone, engine risk rising, internal power struggles unresolved, rivals accelerating, and a driver who no longer looks emotionally anchored to the team that made him a legend. The leaks aren't the problem, the people leaving are, and Max Verstappen is watching all of it unfold. Before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video if you want more deep dive F1 stories that explain what's coming, not just what's already happened. At F1 Unpacked, we don't chase drama, we expose the shifts that define eras, and Red Bull's 2026 era might already be slipping away.